Hey there guys, how are you today, and welcome to another video on my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing the results of my F1 Fantasy League based on the Singapore Grand Prix. Overall, I'd say the Singapore Grand Prix wasn't the most exciting race of the season, but I think the result was pretty important, with Hamilton winning and his big championship rival Sebastian Vettel only coming third on a track which is meant to suit the Ferrari more than Mercedes. But that's what happened. Now let's see what happened in my Fantasy League. So we're going to start with the results from this race. And you can see Renault R25, Vincent, actually had the worst weekend of all of us, or joint worst. Interesting, because he's normally one of the stronger players on the game. But for some reason, he just didn't do so well. And the same can be said for Scuderia Stuttgart. Also only on 91 points, another strong normally towards the top of the league. But he had a really weak weekend, not sure why, we have to look into that soon. And then we have Robbie on 109 points, Roria on 110, Seb on 112, Supbro on 132, DCF1 135, Stuart Motorsport on 156, Blake 417 on 164, Kyle on 173, and without wanting to be smug like Jeremy Clarkson style, I won this week with 192 points. I kind of demolished you all this weekend, so I have to look into why. So yes, I can, you know, the Jeremy Clarkson smug face. Let's pretend I'm doing that now. And then, yeah, let's now go back to the overall leaderboard and start looking at who each person picked for the Singapore Grand Prix. Oh, hang on. Overall leaderboard. There we go. So we're going to start at the bottom of the leaderboard with Seb on 1,072 points. But he had a decent weekend of 112 points. He went for Raikkonen, Leclerc, Hulkenberg, Ricciardo, and Hamilton, and then Haas. So of course Haas had a pretty poor race. Neither driver was really getting into the points. Of course Grosjean, a lot of controversy about him maybe blocking Hamilton and Verstappen. Raikkonen also didn't have the best race, was pretty quiet. And the same can be said for Ricciardo. I don't know if maybe now Red Bull must be definitely favouring Verstappen over Ricciardo now. You know, Ricciardo's leaving the team. He's also got Ricciardo's new teammate, Renault for next season, Hulkenberg, who again had a fairly nothing really special going on with him this weekend. And yeah, and Hamilton of course had a fantastic weekend with a blessed 44 points. Moving on. We're going to do DCF1, who's on 1,148 points. You got 135 points in Singapore, so he went for Alonso, who had a decent race. He went for Ocon, who, we know what happened with Ocon and Perez. I think that was definitely Perez's fault, of course. Kind of bad that Ocon been penalised on here, because before that he was having a good weekend. Then you got Leclerc, Hulkenberg and Ricciardo, like Seb did. And you got Mercedes as a team, which is obviously a pretty good choice. And that's going to really rack up the points for you, of course. But yeah, as for the Perez and Ocon thing, I like Perez, but for some reason there's something going on with him. This weekend he just wasn't good. He had incidents with Ocon and his teammate Ocon. Yeah, he was definitely at fault for the Ocon one. He could have tried to see him or could have left more space, but it is what it is. Poor Sydney are crashing again. Nothing new, kind of sad, because they need to regain their points that they've obviously lost. So yeah, kind of bad for them. Let's move on. Now we're going to look at Robbie's score. You got 109 points. You went for Leclerc. Gasly is a turbo driver, decent choice. Verstappen, who did pretty well, coming second. Magnussen, Ricciardo, and Toro Rosso as a team. I don't know if Toro Rosso is the best choice for the team or not, because of course Hartley isn't doing great. And had another poor race, but Gasly's been doing decent. Seen some good battling with him as well, and I'm super excited to see him at Red Bull. Of course, Leclerc also had a half-decent race. I think he got in the points. And then, of course, I've talked about Magnussen and Ricciardo already. But in general, for Toro Rosso, though, the Honda engine is doing better than we thought, so that's a positive for them there. Next, we're going to look at Supro, Kirby, who's quite a bit ahead, actually, of Robbie. You got 132 points. You went to Vettel, Magnussen, Leclerc, Hulkenberg, and Pierre Gasly with Ferrari as a team. So, of course, Vettel, he got 32 points on him, which isn't bad at all, but he did have quite a poor weekend, considering what everyone was saying before the weekend started. And, you know, Magnussen also had a poor weekend. I think generally quite a lot of drivers were a little bit disappointing this weekend. Overall, it's quite a disappointing Grand Prix, but Ferrari scored quite well for you there with 52 points. Next up is Stewart Motorsport, Louis on 1,404 points. And he got 156 points this weekend, so pretty good. He went for Vettel, Magnussen, Sainz, Ricciardo and Leclerc. Leclerc seems to be a very good choice for a turbo driver, and I'm so excited to see what he gets up to at Ferrari next season. Sainz had another fairly quiet race, nothing much to say about him. And at least Red Bull managed to get both cars to the finish, even though Ricciardo didn't really seem to be able to challenge that much for victory. Next up we have KTM team, Kyle on 1,416 points. He went for Alonso, so he came second, by the way, for this week. He went for Alonso, Magnussen, Verstappen, Stroll. Seemed to pay off again. He didn't do great, but he finished the race, I guess. And Leclerc with Mercedes as a team, so of course Mercedes really rack up the points. And yes, Stroll is actually proven to be quite a good choice for this weekend. He's done okay. And Verstappen as well has been good, but we know sometimes he doesn't do so good. And Alonso had a good weekend finally, scoring 22 points. Now we're going to look at we're going to look at Scuderia Stuttgart, who's on 1,622 points. We know he had a poor weekend, let's find out why. That's because he went with Vettel and then Ocon as a turbo driver. Oh man, that is bad luck, sorry. And then you went with Grosjean, who had a terrible race, Magnussen, who didn't do anything really, and Raikkonen, who only had an average race. So we can see why you only scored 91 points. I'd say you have a decent team apart from Grosjean. Get Grosjean out of your team, that's my advice. But Ocon did... I feel really bad for Ocon really crashing like that. You know, he wanted a good race to prove himself to any potential teams such as Williams. Or maybe his own team for next season, just in case he can stay. And yeah, that's not going to be... That hasn't really worked out for him. And again, Haas, I would say, had a really poor weekend. Now we're going to look at my team, and I've actually moved up to 4th in this table. And I did so well because I put Alonso as a turbo driver, and he scored 44 points. Hamilton also scored a blessed 44 points, which obviously gets me up to 88 points already from my first 2 drivers. And then I went for Raikkonen, Sainz and Leclerc. Leclerc had a good race. I'd say Raikkonen and Sainz neither did anything special. And Red Bull scored pretty well as well, to be fair. So overall, that has been my strongest weekend on the game so far, it must be. Next, we've got Roria on 1,787 points, quite a bit ahead of me. And he only scored 110 points. He went to Vettel, Raikkonen, Ocon, Grosjean as a turbo driver, and Gasly. You would have been better off putting Gasly as your turbo driver, I suppose. But apart from that, not a terrible weekend. You had Vettel and Raikkonen, always pretty safe choices, to be honest. And Ferrari's team, I can see who you support then. But yeah, I would strongly recommend getting Grosjean out your team. Next, we've got Vincent, Renault out to 5. He also had quite a weak weekend. Let's see why. And yeah, because he also went for Ocon as a turbo driver. He also went for Magnussen, Raikkonen, Grosjean, and Vettel. So he also seems to like the Haas drivers. Can't think why. No offense, mate, but get them out. Come on. And yeah, I've talked about all the other ones already. And finally, the leader at the moment is Blake417 on 1,815 points. He went for Leclerc, Magnussen, Vettel, Gasly, and Raikkonen with Mercedes as a team, which is obviously a great choice. And you got 164 points this weekend, meaning you're now top of my league. With only a few races to go as well. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Of course, if you still want to join the league, you can. You can just ask me for the code. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.